Hello and welcome back to the MMA Bar. Today we're going to discuss the UFC Fight Night main event between UFC sensation Chito Vera and all-time legend Dominick Cruz, with both fighters looking to earn a shot at the UFC Championship. UFC San Diego took place on August 13th at the Pechanga Arena in San Diego, California. Red-hot contender Marlon Vera took on the former UFC bantamweight champion Dominick Cruz in the night's main event. Vera earned his biggest victory to date when he defeated Cruz in the UFC on ESPN 41 main event. Vera pulled off another great performance by knocking out Dominick Cruz with a massive head kick 4 rounds into their fight. As usual, Cruz used his unorthodox movement to frustrate Vera and claim the first 2 rounds on all 3 judges' scorecards. But Chito stayed patient and waited for the kill shot to finally land. Vera continued to add to his case for a bantamweight title shot with the 4th round knockout win over former UFC WEC champ Cruz in their headlining bout at Pechanga Arena in San Diego. Chito has now won 10 of his past 12 fights and added a second UFC champ's name to his resume alongside Frankie Edgar. The UFC San Diego Fight Night was no doubt one of the best this year and delivered lots of exciting fights. So you know how it goes, let's do a quick rundown of the fights leading up to the main event. In the opening fight of the night, Gerald Meerschaert proved that he's a level above Bruno Silva. Meerschaert started the fight strongly as he repeatedly hurt Silva on the feet. This would later continue until round 3 when Meerschaert dropped Silva with a gorgeous left hook. Rather than following up with punches, GM3 snatched a guillotine choke that forced the Brazilian to tap within 2 minutes of the 3rd frame. Meerschaert has now won 4 of his last 5 fights inside the UFC. In the next fight, Priscilla Cachoeira faces Ariane Lipski. Priscilla is coming into her own at bantamweight. Zombie Girl needed just 65 seconds to dispatch her opponent. Priscilla walked through Lipski and hurt her badly with a left hook. A barrage of punches followed to secure a stoppage a minute and 5 seconds after the fight began. Priscilla has now won 2 straight fights. In the 3rd fight of the main card, Azamat Murzakanov dominated Devin Clark to stay undefeated inside the UFC. The striking and grappling of Murzakanov proved to be simply too much for Clark to deal with. The professional came close to finishing the fight in the 2nd round, but finally showed his true potential in the final round. The Russian landed a beautiful left hook to the body in round 3 and then unleashed dozens of punches until the fight was stopped. The fight was stopped at 1 minute and 8 seconds of the 3rd frame. The next fight of the night featured another banger. It was a positive octagon debut for strawweight Yasmin Jauregui. Neither Jauregui nor Yasmin Lucinto showed any nerves in their respective debuts as both women came out swinging and kept an active pace. After a back-and-forth first frame, Jauregui would hurt Lucinto in round 2 to gain a decisive edge. The pace didn't lessen in the final 5 minutes, with both women having their moments. After 15 minutes, Jauregui took a unanimous decision with scores of 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28. The co-main event was a real roller coaster ride. A really close fight ended via majority decision in favor of Nate Landwehr. It looked like Landwehr was in for a long night after eating a big right hand from Onama in the 1st round. However, after taking his back and landing several damaging blows, Landwehr would reverse positions and survive the dangerous 1st frame. Despite taking damage, Landwehr was the fresher fighter and was able to take over the fight, outstriking and dominantly controlling his opponent. Landwehr would continue his assault in the final round, but showboating allowed Onama to land several moments and rally back late. After 15 minutes, the judges awarded Landwehr a majority decision win with scores of 28-28, 29-27, and 29-27. In the biggest fight of his career, Ecuadorian bantamweight Marlon Chito Vera delivered in highlight reel fashion, scoring a 4th round knockout of former UFC and WEC champion Dominick Cruz. The bout headlined Saturday's UFC on ESPN 41 event at Pechanga Arena in San Diego, California. Cruz, typically a quick starter, was aggressive at the opening bell, pushing forward with a high kick and then adding punches behind. Cruz's movement-based style was on display early, and he even scored a brief takedown, though he was unable to secure a top position. As Cruz was gaining momentum, Vera did grab his attention by dropping him with a left hand, briefly slowing the assault, though not for long. Late in the frame, Cruz scored another takedown, but he was forced to back away when Vera threatened with an armbar shortly before the bell. Cruz was again aggressive to start the second, stringing together punching combinations while also chopping at the legs. Vera would counter when his opponent would stay in the pocket, but Cruz didn't remain stationary all too often. Instead, he remained the more active fighter in terms of movement and punching volume, mixing up his targets between the body and the head. Cruz again opened with lengthy flurries in the third, attacking with impressive volume. Vera struggled to find the mark as often, though a devastating right hand did briefly put his opponent to the canvas. Still, Cruz popped quickly back to his feet and resumed his attack, sticking and moving and keeping Vera guessing on what was coming next. That said, Vera finally did seem to settle into a better rhythm as the round wore on. Cruz drove forward for a takedown early in the fourth, though Vera sprawled well to stay upright. Shortly after, a Vera jab sat Cruz down, though he was up quickly and back on the move. He would soon make a critical error though, missing on a jab and dipping off to his right, where Vera fired up a left high kick that landed clean to the head and sent Cruz face down to the floor. The finish ended the fight at the 2 minutes and 17 seconds mark of the frame. Vera, who entered the contest ranked number 5 in the UFC's official bantamweight rankings, scored an impressive victory with the result, and will now see how a few other key contests at 135 pounds play out as he tries to work his way to his first UFC title shot. Vera improved to 27-1 and becomes the first bantamweight with 10 finishes in UFC history. He extended his winning streak to 4 following wins over Rob Font, Frankie Edgar, and Davey Grant. Cruz dropped to 24-4 professionally. Following the fight, a satisfied Vera spoke with the media at the UFC San Diego post-fight press conference. "I just like to let it digest. I appreciate the moment, enjoy it with my family and my friends and my team, and just knowing that everything I did leading to this fight paid off. Hard work, staying consistent, staying focused, don't be fucking around like an idiot and just be consistent. The best years of my life are ahead of me right now. Why don't be all in, you know? Now's my time, I've been calling it, but you know, next week comes out and I gotta go back to the gym and keep working because those performances don't just happen like that if you're going halfway. I'm all in." As for the finishing blow, it's not something specific that Vera trained, but he and his team knew about Cruz ducking his head into kicks, and his coach asked him between rounds to exploit that habit. He went further to discuss his opponent's low-level style of fighting. He said, "Honestly, me and my team, we really think the way he fights is kind of very low level. There's no base, there's no good stance. All that movement side to side, I'm like, we told each other I have to kick this guy's ass, but by saying that, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. I just believe that style is not the best style for MMA. Maybe for boxing it can work better, but for MMA, you got way too many weapons going." With the bantamweight division being one of the most stacked and exciting divisions in UFC right now, Vera knows there's no guarantee a title shot will come off this win. He seemed completely relaxed and at peace with the idea of having to claw and scrape his way to a championship bout. Here are some of our favorite Twitter reactions to the finish. Ryan Clark tweeted, "Dominick Cruz is such an enigma, and Vera's power is crazy. UFC San Diego main event is gonna be good." Michael Carroll tweeted, "Chito way down in strikes, but scores the knockdown. It's him versus Font all over again. Hashtag UFC San Diego." Teddy Atlas tweeted, "Cruz Vera. Cruz's style difficult to deal with. Blitzes you like Pacquiao. Best bet is to time him as Vera did. Hashtag UFC." It was a win well deserved and a fight that delivered. Thank you for watching this video. That's all for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell.